Hello students, welcome to this PG class of Industrial Pharmacognosy. Currently we are dealing with Unit 5 Patent Laws. So today's class will be an introduction class where we will try to understand what do you mean by intellectual property and what do you mean actually by intellectual property rights. These understanding will ultimately form the foundation stone or will ultimately form the foundation pillars of the basis for your bigger understanding about bigger vision about patent and patent laws. So we'll proceed, and I will divide this video into two parts uh, so that it doesn't become lengthy enough. So we will understand what do you actually mean by intellectual property. Intellectual property, or it is rather in short known as IP. It means the property which is created or which is an output of human creativity, human mind, human original thinking, human creative ideas. Whatever ideas that you get, that you have, you execute them out with the help of your own original thinking, your own critical thinking, your own mind power. So whatever you are producing from your own mind power, from your own original creativity and thinking is known as intellectual property. It is always not necessary that you have to think big as if you have to prepare a rocket that can take you somewhere to Mars or Moon, but you can even think any smaller items like once upon a time Septipin, once upon a time James Clip, all were patented products. So if you look into James Clip, it has nothing but some wires entangled or bend in a particular fixed pattern so that it becomes capable of holding a bunch of papers tightly. So there you might feel that nothing big is involved in that, but the time when it was invented, probably at that time it was new and it was considered to be a great invention. So intellectual property reflects any output that has come out from your mind, by exercising your creativity, your intellectual, your mind power. Now, once you have created a property, say once you have created something out of your mind, and now then there comes into existence the ownership of it. So definitely, if you look into the term property, say whether it is a house or whether it is a car or agricultural land, you have some legal documents, legal papers which will prove that this house or this land or this particular car belongs to you. So similar is the case with intellectual property. Once that intellectual output has been created by using your own critical thinking, your own original thinking, your own creative ideas, you have created something. Now it's very important that you take ownership of it. So there comes the intellectual property rights. These intellectual property rights are nothing but an array of legal options, a wide spectrum of legal options that you have, through which you can secure your intellectual property. You can take the sole ownership of your intellectual property. Now, I say there are multiple options available because it depends upon the output that you have created. It depends upon the intellectual property that you have created. Based on that, it will be decided that what kind of rights can be given to it. So as you can see that these rights were generated for safeguarding the products generated out of human creativity or creative thinking, so that the person who created it gets the sole right. In other words, IPR are a type of legal rights held by the individual for the things which he has created out of his creativity and mind power. Because there is always a fear that you have created something out of your original ideas that can be stolen, that can be taken away from you in a wrongful way, and can be and somebody else can take the credit of it. So, and there's also a possibility, say you are a pharmaceutical company, you are involved in a drug discovery process, you are trying to discover a drug or a vaccine, something like that, and then after spending millions of dollars and years of research, you ultimately happen to invent that vaccine or drug, and then somebody else takes it, then definitely it's not legally fair enough. So not only for that purpose, but once you have created that product, once that intellectual property, or say, if I explain you in terms of an example, that once that vaccine or once that drug you have already invented, and now it's time that you get that money what you have invested in your research. You should earn back that money by selling that drug or by selling that vaccine, and also not only you get back your invested money, but also you earn profit out of it. That is only possible when only you are permitted to use that intellectual property or that particular product or that particular process, because you only have created it using your intellectual ability, using your own creativity, mind power, and your own critical thinking. So only when you exclusively get a particular right, that since I am the creator of this particular invention, this particular product, this particular process, so I get the sole right to use it. Only when you get the sole right to use it, then only it's possible that only you will be manufacturing it and you will be earning profit out of it. So that's where the right comes into action. So we will understand there are various intellectual property rights. These are nothing but, as I said, these are legal options available with us through which we can protect and safeguard our intellectual property that we have created. So these are patents, industrial design, trade secret, copyright, geographical indications, layout, design, plant variety, and trademark. So these are array of legal options, multiple legal options that we have in the form of rights. By exercising this, we can take ownership or we can take charge of our intellectual property that we have created. So one by one we will be seeing in this first video, part 1, we will be seeing 3 rights, and in the second part 2 of this video we will be seeing the rest of the rights. So the first one, I'll start with patent. So of course the entire syllabus is related with patent. So as we grow up in this topic, we will be learning, we'll be going deeper and we'll be developing our understanding. But as of now, just for an introduction class, I would say that patent is a legal document or exclusive right that is given to you on behalf of an invention that you have created, provided you disclose all the necessary informations of your invention, how you created it, all the necessary data of your invention. You disclose all the necessary invention, and against that disclosure, this particular right or exclusive right is given to you, that you can only use this particular invention, or you can only since you are the creator, you can only use this particular product or process for the purpose of commerce and trade. However, that is not the only criteria for giving a patent. There are 3 more criteria, that 3 more tests that are taken. First one is novelty test. The patent examiner or the patent concerned patent office establishes the fact that this idea, this innovation, this creation or this product, this process is absolutely new and nothing similar to this exists in the entire world. Then after it qualifies this particular test, then the test for inventive step is done, or test for non-obviousness is done. That we will see in the other part of my lecture, because that's a separate topic mentioned in your syllabus. So as of now, we will understand that patent is a legal exclusive right which is given to the applicant, whoever files the patent, against a particular invention that he has made, provided he discloses everything about the invention, all the data, all the necessary informations. He discloses all those things to the patent office, and only after that particular disclosure and carrying out other tests which are necessary. These are not chemical tests, but these are human tests based on human judgment. After careful evaluation of all the parameters, finally the patent is granted. But at the end of the day, it's a legal document, a legal exclusive right which is given to you, by virtue of which you are the only sole person who can use that particular invention, because you have only created it. However, whatever the normal exercises that we can do with a property, suppose we have a land, we have a house, we can sell it, we can transfer the ownership, we can put it on rent, we can license it out, all those similar activities we can do it with our patent also. Once you have got a patent, you can transfer the ownership to some other company, that you can sell the patent, you can license it, you can put it on rent, so whoever uses it will be doing it exclusively only when your permission has been obtained. So that's all about patent, but we'll learn more about it in the rest of our syllabus. So it is actually granted for 20 years from the date of filing of your patent application. Next is trademark. Trademark is basically a symbol or a text matter which identifies a particular product. It helps. It gives a strong message about the quality of the product, about the reputation of the product. I have on the slide you can see certain reputed brand marks: Apple, Coca-Cola, Yahoo, Samsung, all these, McDonald's. When you see a logo of Apple, you don't start doubting on the quality of that particular phone. Or say when you say a product made of Tata company or in anything, when you see a reputed brand, you do not question about the quality of that particular material, because over the year that company has established itself and has satisfied their customers, and there is a fair amount of reputation and quality involved in their product. So by seeing that particular symbol itself, you become confident enough to purchase it, because you are completely aware of the quality and reputation of that particular brand, and you do not raise questions about its authenticity. So that's what the trademark plays a very important role in the customer's mind in ultimately making a purchasing decision. So once you see that particular logo of a particular brand, you get fully convinced, and then you have no more questions in your mind, and even the customers are ready to pay off some extra bucks, because those who strongly believe in quality, those people are even ready to spend some extra amount of money to get a quality product. So that's the impact of trademark, because that trademark, that logo, that symbol, that already gets set in your brain, and then you already developed, because out of your personal experiences, you develop a belief that this particular product is a mark of quality, and while purchasing that product you don't have any queries or doubts in your mind. So that's the impact of trademark. So, and now trademark also, these symbols, particularly Apple, Google, Coca-Cola, whatever symbols, Adidas, whatever you are seeing on this screen, these symbols were actually created out of human mind. It never fell from the sky. So it was actually created by some human being, by some critical thinking, by some original thinking, by some creativity. These products where these symbols or these text matter or these logos are actually the product of human original thinking. So this definitely needs to be protected. If I have established a reputation of myself, I must protect my trademark, I must protect my symbol or logo, because somebody else can prepare under quality product and then can use my logo to sell it off. That can jeopardize my reputation in the near future. So this trademark is also can also be protected. It is also a product of intellectual property, and Trade and Merchandise Marks Act 1958 came into force on 25th November 1959. The first registration is valid for 10 years and can be renewed for further period of 10 years, each by paying the renewal fees. So the name of the act is Trade and Merchandise Marks Act 1958, and it came into force in 1959, 25th November. So a trademark is valid for 10 years and which can be renewed for further periods of another 10 years each. So next we will move to industrial designs. Now industrial designs is as per the act of the Designs Act 2000. It means the features of shape, configuration, pattern, ornament or composition of lines or colors applied to any article, whether in two-dimensional or three-dimensional. Now one thing has to be understood with designs. These designs are industrial designs, have nothing to do with the quality of the product, and the designs has nothing to do with the functioning of the product. So these designs are only made are only applied to make the product more attractive and to get an edge over my competitors. So I have seen on this picture, I've shown the bottle of a popular cold drink. Say this is an LED light. So the design of the bottle can be made in a very fancy way, and the design of the bottle can be made in a very fancy way. The design of this LED bulb can be made in a very fancy way, just to make it more attractive. But the science and technology involved in this LED bulb remains the same. The design has nothing to do with the actual product which is inside this material. So these designs are only superficial things, and they are made in the form of certain configurations, certain shapes, certain colors, to make the product more attractive, more easy for the customers to handle, and for the purpose of beautification. This design can only be judged by naked eye. So if anything I am able to judge with the naked eye, that will be considered as a design, because design has nothing to do with the matter or with the content which is present inside this bottle, or it has nothing to do with the illumination capacity, or nothing to do with the science and technology involved in lighting of this bulb. So this design is only for purpose of beautification and can be solely judged by naked eye. So if you look into the rights, the total term of a registered design is 15 years. Initially, the right is granted for a period of 10 years, which can be extended by another 5 years before the expiry of initial 10 years period. So the rest of the video regarding the other IPR rights, we will continue in the part 2. Thank you.